AITA for moving out of my parents' house when my brother and his family moved in. There is a whole lot of unnecessary backstory I will leave out. I rented my parents' house after they retired and moved south. I paid slightly below market rate. The plan was for me to save up and eventually buy the house at a great price. They would then give that money to my brother as his part of their estate. My share was the subsidized rent and the very subsidized purchase agreement. Everyone thought this was fair. Until my brother's wife started running up debts they couldn't cover. This led to them losing their home and needing help. I love my brother and my nephews, so when my mom asked me if they could move in, I talked to my husband and we agreed. We are in the process of adopting 2 siblings, but we are still not there. IT was only going to be temporary, so why not? Half off the rent for a few months would totally help us with the down payment and expenses. They moved in February. When March rolled around I transferred half my usual rent to my parents. My mom called to ask me where the rest was. I said I assumed that Brad was paying the other half. Nope. I had to pay all the rent. I asked why I had to pay for them to stay in my house. My mom said it wasn't my house yet and that I was being mouthy. I saw the writing on the wall. I paid the rent and started looking. We had a good amount saved up and we didn't need a big old house with lots of maintenance issues we had been handling. We paid the full rent in April as well, but we moved out and into the house we closed on. IT was ready for immediate possession. With my husband and I having decent income and 25% down, it went smoothly. The only downside is the much smaller yard, but it is a block away from a public park, so we aren't losing much. I did tell my parents we were leaving. May 1st I got another call from my mom. She wanted the rent. I said I wasn't living there anymore. She said I was breaking our deal. I said that our deal never included me paying for my brother's living expenses. She said that they couldn't afford to cover the mortgage without my rent. I told her to get money from my brother. He was still working. She said he was trying to pay his debts. I said that his wife should get a job. I could write a much longer post just on this discussion. Long story short, she said I was being cheap and viscous to my brother and to my parents. We are settling into our newish house and just ignoring them for a while, but I'm wondering about if maybe I'm wrong. No, he didn't. We barely talked. He is somewhat ashamed of his current situation since he always made fun of me for living at home while he was out making something of himself. Definitely NTA, you didn't sign up to start supporting your brother and his whole family, and you were courteous when you paid the full rent and informed your mom you were moving out. Did your brother even say thank you for spotting his rent? He is very rightly proud of his accomplishments. I might with he weren't such a jerk about them, but I understand. Damn, karma came back to bite him hard. But IMO, it might be best to go low contact for a little while. Like you said, you and your husband are trying to adopt siblings. You don't need this drama in your life right now. Well, hopefully this event will humble him a little and he'll be able to pay you back someday. Oh, rest assured that he's never going to pay them back. He felt entitled to live for free. There is no way that he has enough self-awareness to pay them back. That will never happen. The only thing not mentioned here is what was the agreement between mother and son. Maybe mom told son he could stay and not pay rent and he assumed sister was okay with it. That was until she bailed. What accomplishments has your brother racked up? He's living in your mother's house, defaulting on the rent and expecting you to pay to keep him and his wife. What on earth has he accomplished? You are NTA and your mother is welcome to support her lil sunny boy for the rest of her life if she likes, but that doesn't mean that you have to support brother dearest. Oh, what's that? She doesn't want to spend the rest of her life supporting him, she just wants you to do that. Sorry, Mom, it doesn't work that way. We don't have all the context at all. He may have been incredibly successful in business while trusting his wife that wasn't working. Accomplishments do not lose all value if you are broke afterwards. He's an asshole. Sure, but that simply doesn't mean he didn't accomplish anything in his life. NTA. It's not your responsibility or problem to support your parents or your brother and his family. Both your parents and your brother were using you and taking advantage of you, and you put a stop to it. You're never the for not letting yourself get taken advantage of. So you were just supposed to support your brother for how long? Nope. He's got a job and his finances aren't your business, much less your problem, unless you allow them to be. Guess your brother will pay or your parents will sell the house. Either way, it's not your problem to solve. If he was actually ashamed, he'd have been paying his share or made a deal with you to pay you back. I think he just thinks of himself as a temporarily disadvantaged millionaire and he was owed it by life and you. This blows me away. When OP's parents asked for help for the brother, it was for OP to pay his rent and house him and his family. IT wasn't for the parents to actually help at all. Wow. Talk about actions of greed and selfishness by the parents. OP is NTA and it was good she saw the writing on the wall. You gave them more notice of leaving than they gave you that you'd still be paying full rent to house a second family. SONTA. But let's be real, you were never getting to own that house as long as your brother's family needed it. you'd probably have to evict them and deal with months of family drama. You did the right thing for your family, especially since you're trying to adopt. Owning a home and not having too many people in it are major factors in that process. NTA, your deal wasn't to cover rent for your brother and his family. I did tell my parents we were leaving. May 1st I got another call from my mom. She wanted the rent. I said I wasn't living there anymore. She said I was breaking our deal. I said that our deal never included me paying for my brother's living expenses. She said that they couldn't afford to cover the mortgage without my rent. I told her to get money from my brother. He was still working. She said he was trying to pay his debts. I said that his wife should get a job. Long story short, she said I was being cheap and viscous to my brother and to my parents. You aren't being cheap, your brother and parents are. Yep. And let's say the parents go to the bank, the mortgage is through. Should they not be able to pay it? If the bank asks why they can't cover it, because we told our son to pay his debt rather than pay us rent to help cover the mortgage, the bank is going to say, okay, so where is the rest of the money? Again, the parents' choice to let their other son's family live with them for free isn't OP's problem, and the bank isn't going to care either. The parents can keep subsidizing their family and lose their home, or they can have the family living with them contribute. Either way, OP has nothing to do with it, and honestly this whole thing, despite how much it sucks up front, might be a blessing in disguise. Yes. And the initial arrangement seemed pretty bad IMO, unless they were talking about a massive discount on the house, and had that in writing. Down the line. OP was paying their parents' mortgage in exchange for the potential to buy the house cheaply down the line when they were already contributing a lot to the equity. And the mortgage must have been considerable if the full rent was needed for it. So why try so hard to keep that house? The parents were taking OP's money and still leaving their options open. Fantastic. So you can also, well knowing that he can at least pay the mortgage. Beyond that, he'll have to budget like the rest of us. Respectfully, I know you're not TA, you know that as well. You know your parents are being ridiculous. Why the post? Are you looking for further answers in how to proceed with your parents, dealing with your feelings, not being confrontational, just looking for clarification? Just from my perspective, sometimes we just need the reassurance that what we are doing is logical and sane, because our relatives are just absolutely not, and they are the loud people in our lives telling us that their insanity isn't insanity. Been there. Yeeted the relatives into NC. That's just how I read this from my perspective. I didn't want to leave them high and dry. My brother makes good money. The tent I was paying is probably one third of his old mortgage. They helped you with lower rent. They're helping your brother with no rent and forcing you to pay his rent, and trying to get it from you even when you're not living there. The help they're providing you and your brother are not equal. If I'm reading this correctly, they want to use your rent money for your brother to use as a down payment, so he's getting that for free while you have to pay rent and then buy the house. How is that fair? Your brother can pay his debt and cover the mortgage for now, or they can sell the house and give that money to your brother if they want. You can enjoy your new home and work on your adoption. You don't have to put your life on hold and sacrifice the time it will take for your brother to get out of this. Your mom is being ridiculous to expect you to still pay rent. You didn't need to specify that when you told her you're moving out. She should have asked you if that is what she expected, though she probably knew the answer would be no. She's making it sound like a reasonable expectation and that you're an for not continuing to pay it without letting her know, which you are not. Tell your mom she should have told you that when you told her you're moving out, you can't cover your mortgage and the rent on their house.